Trump puts out an insane post saying that all federal funding will stop for any college or university that allows quote unquote illegal protests against Israel, or more specifically, against the genocide Israel is committing. He even goes as far as to say that agitators will be imprisoned and permanently sent back to the country from which they came. He even, somehow, is going to force colleges to expel students from participating in protests. So just to be clear, this is the president and the party of free speech.
And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
This is the same president who just pardoned a bunch of January 6th protesters, by the way, which I don't even disagree with, because I believe that inherently there is no such thing as an illegal protest, only illegal acts which can be prosecuted separately, because protesting is protected by the Constitution. There's no such thing as an illegal protest. And all those free speech absolutists on the right are silent once again. And by the way, this isn't merely a threat, because as of yesterday, March 4th, Barnard College of Columbia University in New York just expelled its third student for anti-Israel protests. Oh, and in case if you're wondering if this is just a coincidence, no. It is literally an act of intimidation against the participants as a result of the probe that has been put together by the Justice Department's anti-Semitism task force. Hey, really quick, black people, come here for a second. This is a sidebar. In what world would we ever get an anti-racism task force passed by either party? I mean, we literally had a black president who was a victim of racism during his campaign, if we're being quite frank, and he didn't even put together an anti-racism task force. In fact, we all know that if a president attempted to do that, what would that be called? Look at this wokeism. It's wokeism task force. They would actually call an anti-racism task force inherently racist. Let's be real. But as usual, for some reason, Israel gets special rules. Even if that means Mr. America First himself has to violate the Constitution in order for them to receive those special exceptions. Even RFK came out to support Trump's anti-constitutional, anti-American rhetoric. This man says in recent years, censorship and false narratives of woke cancel culture have transformed our great universities into greenhouses for this deadly and virulent pestilence. He even tried to compare anti-Semitism to racism. So now he's somehow blaming censorship for anti-Semitism and effectively justifying censorship in order to stop the censorship if he believes it'll stop anti-Semitism. First of all, motherfucker, this ain't even your job. This ain't got nothing to do with your job. Why are you even talking about this? But most importantly, weren't you the same motherfucker that's been complaining for the last 8 years, who just got through with a House committee hearing complaining about all the censorship that you've experienced and that you're against all forms of censorship and that you are a free speech absolutist? Where did all that energy go? Oh, so now that you done got your job, now that you've secured your bag, you don't give a fuck that Trump is literally trying to end people's careers and their livelihoods potentially because they're protesting a genocide? Oh, don't worry. The Democrats didn't let us down because in all their wisdom, they decided instead of challenging Trump on this very easy, winnable issue, instead of challenging him, they decided to embolden him. Representative Richie Torres has renewed calls for Governor Kathy Hochul to ban activists concealing their identities, saying the state of New York can no longer stand by idly and allow masked mobs to orchestrate hostile takeovers of college campuses, the Democrat congressman said on social media Friday. Now, while Bernie Sanders is out there calling Putin a dictator and cheering for more war and demanding that the United States continue to give unlimited aid to a dictator in Zelensky, he's had absolutely nothing to say about this. No interviews, no tweets, nothing about Trump stomping on the First Amendment. Jasmine Crockett is out there doing speeches on Capitol Hill talking about how Kamala would have carried us to the promised land. And she had nothing to say about Trump stomping on the First Amendment, despite the fact that her ass has been doing nothing but talking about Trump nonstop since he got elected, making her rounds in the media the same way Bernie has. AOC, do I even really need to say? It's like I always said, no neocon can reach their full potential without the Democratic Party there to hold their hands and see it through. In other words, despite the fact that the duopoly is pretending as if they are at each other's throats right now, one thing remains constant. It isn't like the Democratic Party will look the other way while Trump and the Republicans remain loyal to Israel. They are actually assisting in the process of the betrayal of American citizens and American democracy on behalf of a foreign government.
It's their government. What leverage do we have?
MAGA, liberals even. Y'all don't find that a little bit problematic? Y'all don't find it a little scary that the one nation that the Democrats and MAGA and the Republicans seem to agree on is the protection of a genocidal nation that protects pedophiles and where politicians cheer for and protect rapists? Y'all better wake up and realize that Israel, not just the genocide, the problem of Israel as a whole is the biggest issue of our lifetime. And if we do not address it as a unit, regardless of which side of the political fence you fall on, they will be our doom.